Welcome to a short exercise on metaphors, created for the distance learning workshop at the Seminary of the Immaculate Conception. The purpose of this exercise is to demonstrate metaphors through the simpler medium of visual imagery, before engaging them through the more complex medium of verbal imagery. Some key terms that will be helpful as we enter into our study of metaphors include genus, which is a whole that can be divided, species, which are the divisions of a whole, and analogy, which is a relationship drawn between two sets of objects, where the name of one set of objects is transferred to the other set. Because this is easy to see in images, I've taken some screenshots of 2001: A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick. In the first kind, we have genus to species, where Aristotle gives the example, "Here stands my ship." For the species lying at anchor is a part of the genus standing. Genus to species is the weakest kind of metaphor, because there's no astonishment in the demonstration of something large being divisible. From species to genus, Aristotle gives as an example, "Truly has Odysseus done 10,000 deeds of worth." For the species 10,000 is part of the genus many, and Homer uses it here instead of a lot. Species to genus is a stronger metaphor than genus to species, as there's greater astonishment in the demonstration of something small as a part of something larger. From species to species, Aristotle gives an example, killing a man by draining out his life with bronze, or a weapon, and drawing water by cutting it with long-edged bronze, or a bowl. For here the poet calls cutting draining, and draining cutting, both of which are species of the genus taking away. This type of metaphor is even stronger yet, for things that appear to be dissimilar from one another are shown to be helpful in their explanation of one another. Finally, by analogy, for when B is to A, as D is to C, the poet will say D instead of B, or B instead of D, so that the wine bowl stands to Dionysius, as the shield to Ares, giving the poet license to call the bowl the shield of Dionysius, and the shield the wine bowl of Ares. Analogy, further, is the most important type of metaphor to Aristotle, and in Chapter 10, Book 3 of his Rhetoric, it is said to be the best kind, as it depends on discerning proportional likenesses between things. The images you've seen should give you some idea about how visual metaphors work. To develop your understanding of how verbal metaphors work, take a look at the concept tree provided. You might rewatch the film clip and see if you can identify other areas of visual imagery that you can transform into verbal metaphors. You might also review Homer's Iliad and Odyssey for the 10,000 metaphors that he uses, and transform the verbal metaphors into visual imagery. The process you're undergoing here is an instance of ekphrasis, which is the verbalization of the visual, and also of scissor-hake, which is a visualization of the verbal. When you're done with this short exercise, move to the discussion board and respond to the prompt.